We here at GameRanks love the hell out of Overwatch, and speaking personally, it's one of my favorite games of the year so far, second only to maybe Dark Souls 3. But no game is perfect, and despite our love for it, there are still things that we take some issue with. Hi everyone, Spidey here, and these are 10 things Overwatch players hate. Number 10, if you're not a fan of trolling, having people get free one-shot kill headshots on you, and bad puns, chances are you may hate Mei. Maybe. Mei seems like a character that was designed to be as annoying as a character in Overwatch can possibly be. Getting caught in her slow is just incredibly annoying by itself, but then if you actually get frozen, you can essentially kiss your life goodbye as you're forced to watch as the Mei slowly positions herself, aims her gun at your face, and then to make matters worse, she's just absurdly hard to kill in a one-on-one situation. You'll get her within an inch of her life, and then boom! She retreats into her ice cocoon, and you do the same old song and dance again. Freeze, aim, dead. Even if the Mei is on your team, you still have to deal with teammates that wall you out or close off your escape, which allows Mei to troll you regardless of what side you're even on. In the right hands, Mei can be a great asset to the team, but she's super annoying to fight against, and having a group of trolling Meis on your team is just the worst. It's mayhem! No me gusta! Number 9, the game is kind of lacking in content and modes for its price, especially on consoles where you're basically forced to buy the $60 Origins Edition. $60 is a lot for a game that only really offers competitive multiplayer with only 3 modes. And I get it, quality over quantity, right? But the real tragedy is that the characters and the world of Overwatch are so wonderful and I want to know more about them. Sure, there are the animated shorts and the digital comics, and those are great, but I really just wish Blizzard could have found some way to include some sort of story campaign. But even beyond the lack of a story campaign, Overwatch just feels like a game that started out with the intention of being free to play, but got hit with the full price tag once Blizzard realized that people would not have taken kindly to the idea of being forced to buy heroes in a game where hero switching is such a core part of the gameplay. So players are left with a game that has the amount of content of a free-to-play game, but at the full $40 to $60 price point. And in at number 8, you know what sucks? Getting your ultimate and feeling like you're about to turn the tide of the game. You're about to come in and save the day with your Death Blossom or Rocket Barrage or It's High Noon. And then, stunned, sniped, walled. Having your ultimate blocked or otherwise shut down is one of the worst feelings in Overwatch, and this isn't anything to blame on Blizzard. In fact, good on you, Blizzard, because I'm sure if we made a video on the 10 things that Overwatch players love, shutting down an opponent's ultimate would be one of the top picks. But to be on the receiving end of it, it's just the worst. And in at number 7, let's talk about those loot boxes. In Overwatch, every time you level up, which takes forever by the way, your reward is a loot box containing random skins, voice lines, spray paint designs, and a bunch of other cosmetic items. There are multiple issues with this system, so let's just go down the line. First, legendary skins, which are really the only big money item that you can get out of a loot box, are so exceedingly rare, and chances are, when you do actually get one, it'll be for a character that you don't use, like Zenyatta. The other rewards from loot boxes just honestly aren't that good. Like voice lines? I guess a few of them are cool, like the ones that are in-jokes to other Blizzard games and famous movie lines.
Completion date. Then it's done. Reach for the sky.
But really, does anyone really care about these? Now, a voice pack that would change the announcer voice, that would be cool, and something that would be interested in potentially winning. And finally, the fact that these can be bought with real money. It doesn't really bother me all that much because I just swear them off entirely, but the idea of charging $1 per loot box in a game that already costs $40 to $60 for just the chance of getting something cool for a character you like is pretty weak. And yeah, you can just earn them, but like I said, it takes a long time to level up, and the reason for that is because Blizzard wants people to throw down real money for them. So if you ever complain about how long it takes to level up, in a roundabout way, what you're really complaining about is the fact that Blizzard has implemented the option of paying real money for loot boxes. Moving on to number 6, you know what I hate? And I'm assuming you hate because everyone hates this, Torbjorn plays of the game. I mean, every now and then you get a Torbjorn that's actually being active and tossing armor and using his rivet gun, but all too often you play a match, you feel like you got a really badass play that you're sure is going to get play of the game, and then the end of the match comes and you're met with a Torbjorn just pounding away on his turret. Wow, that was really impressive, Torbjorn. I mean, some people freak out when they get a 360 no-scope headshot, but you didn't even have to look at the people you killed. Play of the game indeed. And you know what, for number 5, I'm not done with the play of the game system yet, because even though I think it's a fantastic feature of the game, it needs some work. Everyone who plays Overwatch has witnessed some really lame plays of the game, and likely when they themselves executed a play that was much more impressive or was instrumental in securing a team's win. Blizzard has said that they're aware of the issues and it's an ongoing process of fixing them, so at least there's that. And look, no one expects the system to be perfect, but I personally would like to see more support plays of the game. And ultimately, I think plays of the game should reflect the moment where the tides turned in a game. If your team was getting shut down by a Bastion and someone switched to a Genji to take it out and finally capture the point, let's see that with the caption of Game Changer. They don't always have to be a highlight of the person who pressed Q at the best time. And number 4, speaking of Bastion, if you watch my videos of the 10 things you need to know before you start playing Overwatch, and if you haven't, you totally should, it's a good video, you'll know that I kicked off that video by talking about all the various counters and ways to deal with a Bastion. But even with those counters, man, playing against a Bastion or a team of Bastions sucks, especially on maps where it's impossible to fight him from long range. Bastion's strength is enough to completely change the opposing team's strategy, and the Bastion really doesn't even have to be that good. Like, a good Widowmaker can force a team to adjust their composition just to deal with the Widowmaker, but being a good Widowmaker legit takes a lot of skill. Bastion, you just have to find a nice spot that can't be sniped from afar, park yourself down, and then practice the religion of spray and pray. The challenge of dealing with a Bastion is that it requires teamwork. Someone has to step up and become a character that can deal with the Bastion without sacrificing another necessary role on the team. And sometimes that just doesn't happen, which is a really frustrating thing to deal with. And at number 3, getting matched with players that don't give 2 shits about team composition. Look, person who is playing Hanzo on a team that has another Hanzo and or a Widowmaker, I understand. You really like Hanzo, and I bet you're super good with him. But our team is severely lacking in the front line, and if we can't keep the 6 other opposing players busy while you're hanging back sniping, you're probably not going to have a good time. I'm probably not going to have a good time. The rest of our team certainly isn't going to have a good time, and we'll all be wasting 10 minutes of our lives fighting a losing battle. Team composition is so important. And it's not just about having too many snipers. You'll also frequently get put into games where the person who used to be your healer decided to switch to an offensive character, or you don't have a tank that can unify the team by having someone to rally behind, or you just simply don't have enough damage. So, to echo a sentiment that I made in that previous video, don't just have a main. Be willing to switch when the situation calls for it, and also be aware of the role that is lost when someone on your team switches. Always think about team composition. Number 2, no competitive mode at launch. Patience is a virtue, and the truth is, we're getting competitive mode eventually. But having that mode at launch would have gone a long way in filling some of the content void that Overwatch currently has. A lot of the problems on this list are because of the fact that hardcore Overwatch players get matched up with players that don't really know what they're doing. And hey, not knowing what you're doing is fine, we all have to start somewhere. But there should totally be a mode where players who want to play seriously don't have to deal with players who don't know about the importance of team composition. Most importantly though, we want a competitive mode because there's no penalty for just leaving a game mid-match. Now, this isn't a MOBA, and typically the game is very good about filling that spot quickly, but being down a person could mean the difference between victory and defeat. And even more so than that, who doesn't hate finally getting matched into a game and your team just loses almost immediately? And finally, number 1, I'm just gonna paint in broad strokes here and say that the number 1 thing that Overwatch players hate is everything that comes with playing by yourself. Overwatch is a team game, and when you have a team that gels and knows what they're doing, and every member pulls their weight and plays their role, it's one of the best multiplayer experiences you will have playing video games. But when you go in as a solo player, getting matched with random people, there's just so much that can go wrong. As we talked about before, you can get matched with people that don't care about team comp, and just go in with 3 snipers or 3 tracers on defense, or you can get matched with people that don't care about playing the objective, or just overall you can get matched with a bunch of dicks. Overwatch has the same big issue that all other hyper-team focused games have, a reliance on playing with people you know. Can it be fun when you play solo? Sure, it can be. It can be a lot of fun, but it can also be rage-inducing, and that's something that players will have to get over if they want to really enjoy Overwatch. And that's our list. Overwatch is seriously one of the best competitive multiplayer games I've ever played, and it was tough coming up with this list, but I am sure you have something that pisses you off about the game as well. So let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, as it really does help us out more than you can even imagine. Also, if you're not already, why not consider subscribing to GameRanks, because we put out awesome videos like this every single day. Thanks again for watching. I've been your friendly neighborhood Spidey. You can find me on Twitter at Jurassic Rabbit, and I'll see you next time.